All right, hi everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Chasing Nurse Riri. So I'm gonna get right into it. I know I did not post as much as I was supposed to for my last class, but I am happily to announce that I did get an A out that boring class, and I am done over with that. So hopping into this week, my new session, I am in mental health. So who else is batshit crazy? That's how I feel about this class. But I'm not feeling like that for real. I'm just kidding. So don't get sensitive about anything. I do suffer from anxiety, so I don't think anyone else is crazy. So anywho. But my first day of class was yesterday, and I really feel like I am going to love this class. Not love it enough to be a psych nurse, but I'm definitely going to love it enough to get an A out this class, really enjoy it, really be able to post a lot of information, a lot about my experiences in this, because I am truly excited. I don't know what anyone else's New Year's resolutions were or anything like that, because it is January 2020, so I don't know how anybody else went into the new year, but I went into the new year feeling amazing, because guess what? This is my last year of nursing school. Last year of nursing school. Do you hear me? I'm super excited. I don't know what to do with myself. I've been putting it off for so long, allowing jobs to come in and say, hey, Maria, you can't take these days off, or you can't do this, or we need you more hours here, this, that, and third. Even my new current job, I put 2 sessions off because they needed me to work more. So that pushed back my graduation date. Although it's still in 2020, it just pushed it back a little more. So now I'm not able to make the move that I need to make when I wanted to make it, which was summer. But everything happens for a reason, and God has been so good in my life. So I'm just keep that moving. So anyways, like I said, I have mental health. And what's crazy enough is I never had this happen before, but my instructor for my class is the same one I have for my clinical. So I'm really excited. So she has over 30 years of being a psych nurse. Straight out of nursing school, she went into psych. She knew that's what she wanted to do. So she's pretty much I'm not here to sell y'all on it. No, you're not here to sell me on it, because I'm definitely not going to be a psych nurse. But I love working with people that really enjoy what it is they do. If you watch some of my previous videos, I talk about not mental health, was a mother baby. She had been a labor and delivery mother baby nurse for so long, and she absolutely loved it. She was so knowledgeable, and I think that's why I loved it. I love when people have passion with what it is that they do and have so many years experience behind it and can give you real life experiences. Sometimes I don't need all that textbook stuff, I read a lot. I cram a lot. So I like real life experiences to understand and know what's going on in life. That's what I really pretty much like. So I know in previous sessions for their mental health, they went to jails and prisons and stuff like that. So that gave me anxiety, because I don't like jail. I don't like going nowhere near it. You know what I mean? That's not my thing. So I was super excited when they told me I was going to Grady. Now, anybody know about Grady besides Grady babies? Anybody know anything about Grady when it comes to nursing or medical, is that you get the best experience ever. So I am really thrilled to go to Grady and really get that personable experience, because I know for a fact that Grady is in Atlanta. So you're going to deal with a lot of mental illnesses that are either diagnosed or not diagnosed. So with that being said, you get a lot of experience with doing mental health statuses, learning about their health, things of that nature, things that they don't even understand. Schizophrenia, bipolar, what type of medications they have to take and things like that. And it's going to be really sad for me, I believe, because a lot of our Grady population is like homeless people and homeless people with mental conditions. So that's the thing that is really going to be heartbreaking for me. So I'm going to try to make sure that I can't say how, make sure I get through it, but I'm going to try to find ways for me to better get through it. I've learned over the years how to communicate with people that suffer from mental illnesses, not just from working, but, you know, my own personal self, because I deal with anxiety, and I've dealt with anxiety for, 8 years. Wow. 8 years. I haven't been on medication the entire 8 years, but I've been dealing with it for 8 years. So I know how it is to have communication with someone that's suffering from a mental condition, especially when people are very quick to overlook it and say, hey, get over it, or you'll be okay, and stuff like that. For a while, when my kid's father passed 3 years ago, I did go through a major stage of depression, and I know what that would do for you. Besides the losing weight and loss of appetite and losing hair and all that stuff, but it really grounds you, and it separates you from people that you know really have your back and people that are going to be there for you. You know, I didn't have a lot of people who were extremely supportive because they didn't understand. A lot of people didn't understand he and I relationship. You know, yes, we were not the best of friends because of our kids' situation. You know, when you want the best for your kids, you want everyone to be on board with that. So that was that situation, and that caused me to go through major depression, because at the end of the day, I talked about this in another one of my videos, at the end of the day, regardless of what anybody say, cousins, aunties, nieces, nephews, anybody, grandparents, me, mother. So somebody interrupted me, so I had to start over. So I do apologize for that. But anyways, as I was saying, at the end of the day, I am the only person that my kids rely on to do every single thing imaginable. You know, when it comes to talking to them about everything in life, when it comes to bills, when it comes to tuition, when it comes to everything, you know, I am the only person. And at that time, that got really stressful for me, and because I didn't have a backbone. It was like everyone else isn't obligated to do what I am, you know, to do for my kids. You know, everybody else can do certain things for them, you know, out of the kindness of their heart and things like that. But for me, I have no choice. And regardless of the fact that my kids being grown, or what they consider to be grown, you know, my kids still need me. And they still need to have that well-rounded and grounded experience. You know, they haven't gotten out here in the real world and really worked. I mean, they worked little jobs, things like that, but they haven't gotten to their career paths. So they don't really understand everything yet. And it's my job to make sure that that is taken care of. So that can be extremely stressful. And that's what pushed me into that depression part. So they tried to put me on some meds for that. I wasn't having it, because the meds actually made me even more depressed. And I talked about that in one of my last videos before. And I just stopped taking it because I wasn't going for it. So anyways, I think I'm really going to have a good time in this mental health class. It's going to be one of my, not better classes. Well, better classes, yeah, because not my favorite, but one of my better classes. I mean, because I've already jumped into it, learning about benzos and things that I already know about a little bit anyway, SSRIs, knowing about Paxil, knowing about lorazepam, knowing about those type of drugs. So that I do have experience with. I do have experience with like amphetamines, at my job, a lot of people come in for ADD and ADHD evaluations. So we treat a lot of people on Ritalin, Vyvanse, Concerta, Adderall, things of that nature, amphetamine salts. So that part I kind of got a grasp on, so I will understand those things. As far as diagnoses go, know a little bit about that stuff. Of course, I know about generalized anxiety disorder. What I did not know in class when I was about to semi-pass out was she was going over the classifications of anxiety. Godly. That was our first chapter. So we went over anxiety and grief, which were two things that, kind of hit home for me. With anxiety, she went through the stages of anxiety. How someone could have mild anxiety where they're nervous for a test or nervous for a new job or even a class starting and things like that. So that's like mild anxiety, which in some cases, you kind of get over that a little bit. Or you can do things like breathing techniques and, focus points, your ears, find things to do to kind of calm yourself down. Now, then we've gotten to, all right, y'all, sorry about that. That was my third interruption. This is probably why people do not record on their phones, but for me, it's a lot easier to record on my phone. But anywho, as I was saying before, we were getting into anxiety, and we were talking about mild anxiety, and see, my anxiety levels had me picking stuff already, but anyways. So we were talking about mild anxiety and how I was telling you guys how you can do your focus points and things of that nature to kind of work on your mild anxiety, like breathing techniques and things like that. The one thing that I do love about my Apple Watch is whenever it notices that my heart rate is elevated, which is all the time, it will tell me, all right, Maria, take a minute, breathe. So it will give me that time to stop doing whatever it is I'm doing and start breathing. And it's really odd because when I'm at work, I'm like, give me a second. Let me breathe because my heart rate is 125 right now. So I breathe and it'll calm me down and then I'm calm from that point. But my heart rate is still be up, but it's still not 125. But anyway, so in class, we were talking about moderate to severe anxiety. Yeah, which I kind of realized I have. So we got into moderate to severe anxiety. Now, this is the stage before the panic attacks. So this is pretty much all right, this is grouped under generalized anxiety disorder, which is what I have. So this could be a number of things that are stressors, of course, that cause you to go into this not demonic state, but you feel so anxious and overwhelmed for a longer period of time. And it's more difficult to bring your stress level down. When you're having mild anxiety, you're kind of all right, breathe. It's okay. I just dropped my glass. Let me pick my glass back up. Something like that. But if it's you drop your favorite mug and it's because somebody left something right there, then of course you're going into a more inclined level of being anxious, which is your anxiety levels. So different classifications. With generalized anxiety disorders, it varies for so many different people, but it is mild to severe. Not everybody will get panic attacks. It won't get to that severe stage, but it definitely will get you in that red zone. So it's a matter of your heart will beat extremely fast. Sometimes your blood pressure will be up, but most of the time it's not. You get clammy, sweaty, you get dizzy, you get confused. It's a number of levels that you get. For me, I get an instant headache. I get rapid heartbeats to where my chest just burns and it feels like my heart is just beating out of my chest. I'm not having a panic attack just yet, but I'm that upset. I feel like fire is coming from my ears. And that could be anything could set me off. It could be someone saying something smart to me. It can be a evil text. It could be someone cut me off in traffic. It can be something keep dinging. It can be someone constantly calling my name. It could be, I don't know, I stop at a red light. It could be people talking loudly. I mean, it's a number of things that are under that category of generalized anxiety disorder that pushes you to that red zone. And when you're in that red zone, it's different when you have to talk to patients. Because the patients are in that red zone, you have to find a way to bring them down. You have to find a way. Of course, yeah, we're going to have to give you some meds. But for the most part, I try to de-escalate the situation first. And then from that point, we're going to have to give them some meds to get them calmed down. For me, most of the time, I don't take my meds as soon as I'm in the red zone. I kind of take it throughout the day. But definitely, if I'm in my red zone, I have to increase my dosage because I have to bring myself down immediately or it's not going to be pretty. And I have tried natural remedies and natural methods and things of that nature, which I'm going to work on to try to become more vigilant with. Like, I have to make sure that I do things that are a little bit more natural because I know these chemicals are, messing with my mind and all that good stuff. I know all that already. So anyways, moving along to the class. So yeah, we learned about mild to severe anxiety, learned about panic attacks. So it kind of gave me an idea of that situation. We talked about grief a little bit, the 5 stages of grief. So that I did have to go through. So that's why I was like, this chapter really hit home. For a long time, I was in denial and, I was bargaining and I was doing so many different things when it came to dealing with grief that I finally had to let go and really get to the point of acceptance. Like, it's over. This is nothing I can do about the situation. What can I do to move forward? And that's what I had to do. And that was everything for me. So, like I told you guys, I did get my assignment for my clinicals. It's at Grady. And I am excited about that. And it'll be Thursdays. So now I have Mondays and Wednesdays I'm in class. And then Thursdays I have clinicals. So that means I work Tuesday. And then I try to work on the weekends, which would be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Some of our hours kind of vary on the weekends. So it won't be as bad. I still will have time to study and make my lovely little note cards here. Because I'm all about note cards. I love making them. I love making, like note cards like this that you actually buy. And they have all the information on there. Gotta love those. Because, I highlight and I go back and forth and figure out what is a benzo, what is an amphetamine, what's a antipsychotic drug with this particular session. I'm breaking it down to what's SSRIs. Just trying to get an idea of what medication is prescribed for what. So when it's time for me to go to clinicals, I don't go to clinicals until the second week of class. So when it's time for me to go into clinicals, I already have an idea of what's going on. So that helps me out a lot. And like I said, I do have my clinical instructor, same person that I have as my class instructor. And I'm really excited about that because I never had that before. My clinicals are from 7 to 3, which is amazing on Thursdays. So that means I have the rest of the day to kind of do what I want to do. Either it be study or, go to Barnes & Nobles and read, because that's what I like to do, nerd self. Or go get some salad or hang out with some friends or something like that. So next week we have a quiz. So I'm trying to be prepared for that. I have a lot of little scenarios and stuff that I have to do, IS bars and stuff. Definitely going to be ready for that type of stuff. But through this whole class, we are dealing with different disorders, which I'm really going to really love. Like crisis situations, how to deal with those, and some psychotic disorders. We're going to talk about cognitive therapy, therapeutic communication, which is one of those things that people are like, yeah, whatever. But therapeutic communication is like the best thing for real, especially with dealing with people that have mental illnesses. That's the easiest way to talk to people, to calm down. When I deal with people on a daily basis that come into my office that are not really on antipsychotic meds, not all of them at least. Some of them are on different medications, but for the most part, if I know they're on a medication that is either for anxiety, depression, ADHD, something like that, you find ways to kind of talk to them, to not talk at them or talk down to them, not to make yourself look or feel like you're better than them, because some people kind of shy away and like feel some type of way that they have to take medication to deal with life. And sometimes it's like that, because sometimes people have to take medication to deal with life, or shrink to deal with life. No worries about that. That was already cleared with my cardiologist. A glass of wine a day, keep my cardiologist away. Already cleared. But anyways, yeah, so I'll be dealing with a lot of different things, which I'm really excited. I'm really excited to learn about OCD a little bit better, because I know a little bit about it, but I don't know much about it. So some of the things that I'm kind of familiar with, I get to learn more about it. Traumas and stressors and things that will cause people to do, certain things that they actually do. Ethical behavior behind it. Now, there's a lot of things that we went through in class that I wasn't really on board with. Like, should you strap a patient down and give them meds? In certain situations, I'm all for that. Should you give patients medications to make them feel better if you have to treat them and treat them? In certain situations, I am, because sometimes they need those medications right then and right there. Now, sometimes they can't afford the medications, of course, because they're expensive. But sometimes as a nurse, we can't advocate to get those medications cheaper. I mean, we have GoodRx that's out here now. We have good rapport with pharmaceutical companies where we can call them and try to get samples. So, I mean, it's various ways that we can work to try to take care of our patients if we really want to. And I'm just so happy that I am that compassionate person that is really, really, really willing to go over and beyond to help each and every patient. And I believe that's one reason that I don't want to work mental health, because I feel like I might be that nurse that tried to help everybody and to feel like I can cure them and feel like that, I can take over the world type thing. And I know that's totally impossible. But I don't want to strain myself and dig myself too far into something that I know I can't handle. So I think that's why I don't want to be a psych nurse. I think that's more so why I would just enjoy this class. So yeah, we have like one little assignment where we have to do about an article. I already know my article is going to be on anxiety. My last class paper was on anxiety. I just like to talk about anxiety a lot because I'm really familiar with it, and it helps me to understand myself a little bit better. Because when you do have a mental illness of any kind, it helps you understand things a little bit better. And it helps you deal with other people a little bit better. Because everyone doesn't have the same type of anxiety or the same type of depression or the same type of schizophrenia or, whatever. So, I think this class is going to be really dope. Really, really dope. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the STEM that we have. I don't have really a lot of my friends in my class because, of course, I got held back a few sessions for finances, and I kind of talked about that in my last video. So I'm with a bunch of strangers. But I hope to kind of blend in, try to meet up with some people in this particular class and try to see how we can make it work. Because we don't have any group assignments, but when it gets to SIM, it's like we have to work together as a group to get through this SIM and to get a good grade, so, and not have them grade you and be like, oh my God, y'all are a bunch of idiots. So I definitely don't want that to happen. All right, guys, so I know I talked your head off a lot about this particular class, but I am super excited. I am. And I have so much homework to do already. So in the next few days, I will get back on, talk to you about my clinical experience at Grady, let you know how it goes, that type of thing, because I definitely want to be more active with this session. Okay? And like I said, any given time, you can hit me up, email me, anything, leave comments. You can, however you can get to me, just get to me. Tell me about your experience. Tell me about your last year in nursing school, because this is my last year. I'm really excited. Let me know how it goes. Ask me questions, whatever. I'm here. I'm here to help. I'm here to educate you guys about what I'm going through and just have fun along the way. So thank you guys for tuning in to Chasing Nurse Riri. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.